What do you know at this moment, Paulo, about the irregular plurals, mutant plurals?
About the regular plurals, there's some that end with like an M that are like four of them, but we only use one. There's the ones that if it ends with an F, it becomes VES. There's, there's no, there was another one, right? I forgot.
Okay. What about
The other one
mutant
is the
plurals?
like less mutant plurals. Never heard before.
Okay. So at this moment, you wouldn't know to tell me what it is, the mutant plurals. Do you know? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. So after the class, after this video, I would like you to explain to me what are the mutant plurals, okay?
Hello, grammarians. Welcome to Irregular Plurals Part 4, the Mutant Plurals. Ooh. Yes, friends, these words have mutant superpowers, in that they can transform weirdly and obnoxiously, not obeying any other rules of English pluralization. But here's the cool thing. There are only 7 words that behave this way. What way? I'll explain by writing all of them down. The words are foot, woman, man, tooth, goose, mouse, louse. Looks pretty straightforward, right? The thing about these words is that none of them take S as a plural. So the plural of foot is not foots, the plural of woman is not womans, the plural of tooth is not tooths. The reason these are called mutant plurals is because the vowel sound, the oo or the or the a or the oo or the ow or the ow, turns into a different sound. It turns into a different vowel sound. So the plural of foot is not foots, but feet. The plural of woman is not womans, but women. The plural of man is not mans, but men. The plural of tooth is not tooths, but teeth. The plural of goose is not gooses, but geese. The plural of mouse is not mouses, but mice. And the plural of louse is not louses, but lice. You can see that mouse and louse actually change their end spelling as well, to from SE to CE, even though it's the same sound, louse, lice. For whatever reason, just from some quirk of our spelling history, not only do we change the vowels used here, we also change the consonants, you see. Why is this the case? I'm so glad you asked. I'm going to save that for another video. In the meantime, just these 7 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are the only words in English that behave this way. So you're in luck. This is a handful of words to memorize. And provided you're not borrowing anyone else's hats, ideally you won't have to worry about lice very often.
So what are the mutant plurals? What happened to them?
Basically, they don't follow the English rules and they change the vowel. Well, I don't know how to say that. But in the last two, mouse and louse, changed the consonant to mice and lice. Just wait a minute. Came back.
That's my hope.
Clarice, hello.
Ai, teacher, desculpa a demora. Foi que eu fui sair de lá naquela hora que eu te falei. Eu vou andando.
Okay. Welcome back to the class. It's been a long time, huh?
Yes.
Okay. So you missed quite a lot. So either way, if you want, you can watch our recorded class. It's gonna be on Google Classroom. But if
Ok.
not, just follow. If you don't understand, you can ask me or ask Paulo because he knows almost everything by now.
Ok.
He can help you. But right now
Ok.
we are just seeing our 10 minutes on grammar. We are still looking at parts of speech, and at this moment we are looking at irregular plurals, the mutant plurals. And
Uhum.
we saw the 7 words in English that are mutant plurals, okay? So what they are plural, it's spelled and also written differently, as you can see, okay? So singular for foot is feet. Could you please read here so you can get on?
Singular foot, plural feet. Woman, women, man, man. Tooth, tooth, teeth, shoes, keys. O que é goose, teacher?
I think it's the kind of quack quack, something like this.
Mouse, mice. O outro eu não consigo ler, não, teacher. Tô com a linha do
Louse,
YouTube. Laos. Lice? Tá escrito?
lice, You know,
Ah, tá.
lice, like people have.
Aham. Aham.
Yes, horrible. But yeah, so this is the plural, okay? Don't say men's or women's. I've seen many people saying like this, but now you know
Uhum.
plural is women and the pronunciation also changed, and man doesn't change the pronunciation, but the spelling.
É.
Okay.
Ok.
Any question, Paulo and Clarice?
Não.
Yeah, only 7 words, guys, not this much. Okay, so if you ever hear about mutant plurals, are all these 7 words. Okay.
Ok.
You can learn anything. David out.
Okay, 1 for Paulo, 1 for Clarice. Let's start with Paulo.
Okay. Banana, love this cheese. Letter C, mice.
Sandra was inspired to become an astronaut when she learned about Peter Dill, Sally Ride, May Jimmy, and several others who had gone to space. Women, A. Quase que eu falava B. Women's.
There were 50 Nana on the water polo team. Letter A, man.
When flying across the sky, they usually do so in a V-shaped formation. Geese.
You know, birds that fly and they make the shape of V, they make quack quack, and then they go.
Uh-huh.
These are geese or goose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool beans, you guys. You guys are getting there on your parts of speech. Why do you guys think parts of speech are important? Do you remember why?
No.
Well, all the time when you are desperate because you are doing your tests in English and you don't know things, it's usually because they are here in parts of speech. We're not going to go through all of them, but basically we study in depth nouns, pronouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, interjections. These all are in parts of speech. So if you guys are more curious, you can have here, you see on your Google Classroom, it's here, your PDF, and then you can see a brief explanation of all of them. Everything.
Okay.
So I think it's nice sometimes to know what it is, each of one of them. Okay. By the way, Clarice, I just told Paulo that we are going to be using Google Classroom, not the WhatsApp anymore, to access the class. Okay. So basically click in there. If you want to do this now, it's okay. Because even to get on Zoom, the Zoom link is right here. You're going to go. And all the lessons also I'm going to be posting here and activities. For example, you guys, you are here now. So once you do activity, you just deliver in there and I can grade, I can give you the points, I can give you feedbacks and stuff like this. All right.
Okay.
Go. Last class, we met Miss Aunt Carolina. She's Jack's aunt. Did you see this episode, Clarice?
Oh, no.
About Aunt Carolina?
No.
I recommend you to see at home because we saw twice already. So I'm not going to again. But it's just about Jack's aunt. She came to visit them. And what happened, Paulo? Aunt Carolina, she came to visit, and what happened?
Basically, she came to visit, and the girls didn't know because they were in a hurry earlier. So they were planning to go to somewhere, I don't remember when. And then the aunt say something that their clothes were bad. And then the girl went to change the clothes, and Aunt Carolina made a tipo uma piada do E as Namoradinhas. É o mais próximo.
She made a joke, né? Apparently, she didn't like that Jack is living with two girls in the same house and stuff like this. So she's interesting. But in today's class, we will see some modal verb, how to use can for permission, how to use can't for prohibition, must, okay, for strong obligations, and we're going to see how to use mustn't for strong prohibition. So let's see Luis pretending to be a nurse and using all these modal verb, okay? Let's go ahead.
All these women?
Well, hello, Mr. Monkey, and how are we feeling today? Let's check the thermometer. I know you're not well. Let's have a look. Good. Yes, the temperature has gone down. That's good news. Now, Mr. Monkey, you don't have to stay in bed any longer, okay, because your temperature has gone down, but you can't go out monkeying, not yet. You must stay indoors for another 3 days because you're not strong enough to go out yet, all right? You mustn't be too energetic. You can have relaxing baths and you can eat whatever you want, but you mustn't have any alcohol, okay, because you haven't finished your antibiotics and it could have a disastrous effect on you, all right? So you must finish your cycle of tablets. Now, let's see what else. Oh, yes, and you must drink a lot of water, maybe 5 liters a day, if you can manage that, okay? Good. So, oh, and you don't have to pay me until you're better, okay, Mr. Monkey? So take very good care of yourself, and I will come back tomorrow and check on your condition again, okay? So goodbye, Mr. Monkey. See you tomorrow. I became a nurse to show you other ways of using modal verbs. Now, so far we have studied can, could, and may. And these are verbs which help to change the meaning of the verb which comes after. They're called modal verbs. And here we were using verbs of obligation. Very interesting. Let's look at the screen and see those. Now, let's first go back to permission. Remember, we talked about can is a form of expressing permission, and I was giving him permission to do things. For example, you can eat whatever you want, you can go for walks, and you can't, however, that's not giving permission, you can't go monkeying or you can't go to work, all right? Then I talked about obligation, and this is very interesting. I used the verb must. Must followed by an infinitive without to. So, for example, you must finish the tablets, you must relax, you must stay at home for 3 days, and you must look after yourself. Now, that in English is how you express obligation, something which is you are obliged, forced to do. All right, it's a strong verb.
So whenever you use must is because you really have to, all right? If I say, guys, you must do your activities on Google Classroom. No negotiations. It's here.
In English. Now, the opposite, mustn't, means prohibition. If you do that, okay, so very strong verb. You mustn't drink alcohol. You mustn't do anything energetic. And you mustn't jump about. All right? So must and mustn't. Must, obligation. Mustn't, prohibition. Then I said something else. I said, you don't have to stay in bed. Now that's very interesting because that's optional obligation. And it's the same as saying you don't need to stay in bed. You don't have to stay in bed, it's optional. Or you don't have to stay indoors. I also said you don't have to pay me. It means it's not necessary. So that's optional obligation with have to. So that's an important lesson. Must, mustn't, and have to as different ways of expressing obligation. Great! So now you have to study more English. You must read and watch your English lessons. Okay? And I must see you again next time.
Right, guys, let's do some reading, and after we're gonna do an activity together very quickly. So, starting with Clarice and after Paulo.
Louise becomes a nurse. Well, hello, Mr. Monkey. And how are we feeling today? Let's check the thermometer. I know you're not well. Let's have a look. Good. Yes, the temperature has gone down. That's good news.
Now, Mr. Monkey, you don't have to stay in bed any longer, okay? Because your temperature has gone down. But you can't go out monkeying. Not yet. You must stay indoors for another 3 days because you're not strong enough to go out yet, alright? You mustn't be too energetic. You can have relaxing baths and you can eat whatever you want, but mustn't have any alcohol, okay? Because you haven't finished
It's okay,
your
Paulo.
antibiotics.
Let's alternate a little bit. I love your how do you say your energy to keep reading. This is great. Now it's for Clarice.
Because you haven't finished your antibiotic and it could have a disastrous effect on you. All right, so you must finish. So you must finish your cycle of tablets. Now let's see what else.
I'm pretty sure the pronunciation is going to be antibiotics. Antibiotics.
Antibiotics.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes. And you must drink a lot of water. Maybe 5 liters a day, if you can manage that, okay? Good. So, and you don't have to pay me until you're better, Mr. Monkey.
So take very
So,
good so take very good care of yourself and I will come back tomorrow and check on your condition again, okay? So goodbye, Mr. Monkey. See you tomorrow.
Have you ever been to a hospital? Been in the hospital for a while? Any of you?
No, for a while. No.
Mm-hmm. Paulo, have you ever been in the hospital, stay there in bed, taking antibiotics from the doctors?
Teacher, you saying like
no,
sleeping
never happened to me.
there?
Yeah, from one day to the other, feeling bad.
No, it's sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me neither. Thanks God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never been hospital. I'm so glad, I think I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
healthy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But yeah, so I have no idea what do they do there very much. So I'm not planning on staying there. So I take good care of my health, so I don't need to go to the hospital very often. What do you do, Clarice, to keep yourself healthy?
Going to the gym, eating well, sleeping well, drink water. That's it.
Mhm. Yes. Okay. All right, let's continue here. Paulo, please.
Modal verbs. Can plus infinitive without to. Permission. You can eat whatever you want. You can go for walks.
Good. So permission, yes, no problem. Clarice?
Can't plus infinitive without to. Prohibition. It's not possible. You can't go monkeying. You can't go monkeying. You can't go work.
Okay, next one, Paulo.
Must plus infinitive without to. Strong obligation. You must finish the tablets. You must relax. You must stay at home for 3 days. You must look after yourself. That in English is how you express obligation, something you're obligated, forced to do. It's a strong word in English.
What are the things you must do in your life, Paulo, that's an obligation for you to do?
Study.
Okay, how about you, Clarice?
Studying too.
Okay, work, study, eating. You must eat because if you don't eat, what happens?
Várias coisas.
Yeah.
Mustn't plus infinitive without to. Strong prohibition. You mustn't drink alcohol. You mustn't do anything energetic. You mustn't jump about. Como assim jump about?
Like being doing things around it's a prescription for somebody who is sick, if they just leave the hospital, the doctor tells them, hey, you mustn't be jumping about, going out, drinking alcohol, walking up and down. You need to stay home. You must stay home. You must eat healthy food and then drink water, all things like that, but not going out. It's just an expression, jump about.
Okay.
Must and mustn't. Must, obligation. Mustn't, prohibition.
Clarice?
Optional obligation. You don't have to stay in bed. You don't have to stay indoors. You don't have to pay me.
That's very interesting because that's optional obligation. And it's the same as saying, you don't need to stay in bed. You don't need to stay in bed. Oh, it just repeated. It's optional. Or I also say, you don't have to pay me. It means it's not necessary. That's optional obligation. But have to. So that's an important lesson. Must, mustn't, and have to as different ways of expressing obligation.
She seems to be a very nice doctor, no? You don't need to pay me. That's good. Oh, she's so nice, so friendly. Okay, all right. We have activity 5 for you guys to do. Okay, let's alternate. Paulo reads to Clarice, Clarice answers, and then back and forth like this.
Okay, what is the difference between can, could, may, and must?
Can é pra, tipo, falar em português? Tipo, o que é can, depois
In
falar o que é
English,
can.
you have to explain in
Ah,
English.
can is that you can do something. Could is like in the past. Não, mentira, in the past não. É que eu não sei explicar, tipo, I could do that. Eu poderia ter feito, tipo, poderia fazer isso.
Mhm.
E may é. E o may, tipo. Ai, teacher, eu não sei falar inglês, explicar em inglês.
It's okay because we are actually talking about in a grammar way, but we saw last class. So here,
Ah,
if you go back, you're gonna see, for example, you could answer like this: could for neutral situations,
aham.
can for informal situations, and may for formal situations. Because they are pretty
Ah,
much the same, but you can use,
uhum,
situations. So if you are
ok.
unsure when you're writing down, you can go back and then you can see just so you can use it.
Ok.
Mhm. Okay. Next question, you read to Paulo.
How did Alice feel after the yoga class?
Teacher, I don't remember.
Mhm. Okay, no problem. You can go back and watch the scene or read again the dialogue and then you see how did she feel. It's in the very beginning of the video. She says how she feels. She's talking with Annie. Mhm. Okay.
Let me see here.
But it's okay. Don't worry about searching now because this is only for you guys practice pronunciation. But you're gonna do it written, and I hope you guys gonna use more than 2 lines now. Okay, don't be
Mhm.
yes and no. I want you guys to be more specific on your answers. All right. So Paulo, could you please read number 3 to Clarice?
Okay. What kind of information did Aunt Carolina want to know about Jack?
Gente, não tem como saber.
How can you explain this in English? Like, well, I
I
didn't watch the scene, so
didn't watch. I didn't watch this episode, so I can't answer
I can't answer
the question
yet because
yet.
after you will go back and you watch and then you know. All right. Number 4 to Paulo.
Why couldn't any food or drink be offered to Aunt Carolina?
because they ran out of wine and they needed to go shopping. Ran out of wine and other things, and they needed to go shopping.
This is a personal question, Clarice. So Paulo to Clarice. Personal, it's for you.
How can you prepare yourself for unannounced visitors?
Teacher, visita que só espera, né?
Yes, unannounced. They
Uh,
didn't call you. They didn't say, "Hey, Clarice, I'm going to your house." They just show up at the door.
uh, you don't prepare. Like, how are you gonna know? You're gonna know there's a person coming to your house. You just say hi, and that's it.
Did you ever have this situation where you are like watching Netflix, relax, eating popcorn, and people pop up at the door, and then you're like, "Oh, dang, I need to give them attention."
No,
Okay.
no.
How do you feel though? How do you feel, Paulo, whenever people show up without visiting, without telling you, unannounced?
Wow, I don't do nothing because they came to visit my grandmother, so okay.
What about you? Don't you have people who go and visit you, your friends, something like this?
Nah, they wouldn't come randomly.
Okay.
Generally, they warn me before.
Yes, I think
No, every time.
nowadays it's more common people call or send a text message on WhatsApp, But
Mm-hmm.
the other day I was really happy because I was on my break from my classes and I really didn't want to talk to anybody because, in all day, sometimes when you finish work, you don't want to talk to anybody. So I went to my sofa and I was relaxing on my couch and said, I'm going to watch Netflix now. And guess what? Somebody just knocked at the door. Pa, 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 pa. I was like, oh my God, who is there? And then when I opened the door, it was two missionaries from the Jehovah testimony. And I was trying to be polite, but telling them like, yeah, I'm busy now, but they were talking and talking and talking French. And I was like, oh my gosh. So it took me at least 40 minutes. Yeah.
They're this way. If I see Jova this morning, I probably would close the door.
But I didn't want to be rude, you know what I mean? I was trying to be polite, but even though I was telling them I was busy, they kept talking and talking and talking. Dang it. Okay. Anyway, Alice to Paulo.
Did Jack make any attempt to let Annie and Alice know about his aunt's visit?
Yeah, he did, but the girl said, "No, I'm late. I need to go. My boss gonna kill me." So, yeah, it wasn't his fault.
Okay.
What is Carolina's opinion on Jack sharing a house with two girls?
I don't know yet, because I didn't saw the episode.
I didn't see this episode.
I didn't see exactly. What modal verb did Louise use with Mr. Monkey?
I don't know what modal verb means, but I guess it's probably must and have to.
Well, a modal verb, they modify the verb, the main verb. Okay. Could you do this for me? Could you do? So could modify do.
Would também, né, teacher? Would.
Oh,
Can, may. So their function is to be an auxiliary to the main verb. And some of them have
so
functions.
must.
Okay. But we will talk more in depth about this. It's only a very short introduction in this DVD 9. You guys getting to know it, but in next class, next DVD, you're gonna see it more in depth. Okay, more explanation.
Okay.
Was Louise actually pretending to be a doctor or a nurse?
A nurse. Because she said, and then she was a nurse.
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
That's good.
What did you find most interesting about this lesson?
Mr. Monkey.
Okay. All right, guys, very good. So please answer. I will post on Google Classroom, so it's gonna be there, and then you guys gonna answer and deliver there as well. Okay?
Okay.
Mustn't. Sounds good for you?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, what are you gonna do now is a little bit of listening. Just give me 1 second. What? No. Sorry, guys, I just closed the thing, so I have to open again.
Hello, this is AJ. Welcome to the Hello, this is AJ. Welcome to the
So let's see how much you guys understand from this mini story. Listen carefully.
Hello, this is AJ. Welcome to the mini story for Healthy Heart. As always, let's take a deep breath. Let's get our bodies standing up strong or sitting up strong. Lift your head. Big smile on your face. I'm doing it now, so do it with me. Feel good? Let's move a little bit. Let's move our bodies a little bit. I'm standing up right now. I can't really move, but I'll jump around a little bit. Get my body moving. You move your body too. And let's start. Now for the mini story. Here we go. There was a guy named Zach. Zach loved bright and expensive clothes. Did Zach love dull clothes?
Gladys.
Yes.
Yes? Let's see.
Oh, no. He did not love dull clothes.
No.
He loved bright clothes. Did he love bright clothes or did he love dull clothes?
Dull clothes. I don't know.
Mhm.
Dull clothes.
Okay, that's good. You understand, even though you don't know what mini is the mini, you understand. So this is pretty cool. Do you know what it is? Dull and bright clothes? Paulo.
Então é de boneca. E Bright, se eu não me engano, é alguma coisa relacionada à luz, iluminada, acesa. É alguma coisa assim.
Okay, I'll show you guys. Okay, dull clothes versus bright clothes. Okay. When I am in Brazil, I prefer bright clothes. Here in Switzerland, because it's autumn, I wear dull clothes. I'll show you guys some pictures. So we can say bright versus dull, you see. So you see, these are bright. The colors are very strong. Strong yellow, strong pink, strong blue. The colors are bright. Okay. Opposite of dull. For example, this is a dull color. You see? No color, it's like plain. So, did he like bright clothes or dull clothes?
Dull clothes. Bright?
Bright, yes, he liked bright clothes. Okay, let's see.
Well, of course, bright. He loved bright clothes.
How about you, Clarice? Do you prefer bright clothes or dull clothes, like no color, plain?
Teacher, this time I'm preferring dull adults.
Dull.
Those clothes, more basic. This vibe.
Okay, gotcha. I think me too at this moment. Whenever it's summer in Brazil, I like bright colors, bright clothes, but it depends on the season, you know?
And the place you go.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
What kind of clothes did he like?
Paulo.
Clothes.
He liked bright clothes and expensive clothes. So did he love black and gray and brown?
No, he didn't. He preferred bright colors. Oh, bright clothes.
Clothes? No, no, no! Those are not bright colors. He loved purple and green and pink clothes. He loved bright clothes. Who loved bright clothes?
If I remember well, his name is Zach.
Yeah, I can't remember either. How about you, Paulo? How would you define your style? Bright or dull?
My style is I don't leave home, so I don't care.
Okay. No problem. You can, anything that you have to wear, it's fine. That covers you, that's good. Like, okay, sounds good.
Well, Zach. Zach loved bright clothes.
Zach.
He loved bright, cheap clothes, right?
Clarice?
Yes, he do like bright clothes and cheap clothes.
Cheap clothes?
Ele falou cheap clothes.
Did he? I don't know. I think before he said something about it, but it's okay. Let's see what if it's cheap or expensive.
Não, eu confundi, teacher. No, he didn't like cheap. Não lembro agora. Teacher, eu não sei.
Okay, let's see.
No, 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 no. Wrong. Not bright, cheap clothes. Bright, expensive clothes. Zach
yes.
loved bright, expensive clothes. He loved bright, expensive what?
He loved bright, expensive clothes.
That's right, clothes. Zach loved bright, expensive clothes. In fact, he was always very conspicuous on the street. Did Zach blend in on the street?
No, he was always. Oh, não lembro a palavra que ele falou, teacher.
Okay, conspicuous.
Conspicuous.
Mhm.
Did he blend in? No, he did not blend in. Blend in means to be the same as everything around you. It means not obvious. It's the opposite of conspicuous. So, of course, Zach did not blend in. He was conspicuous.
Okay, he was the opposite of, the person who blends in, he was conspicuous. You could see him from the far because he was wearing bright clothes, expensive clothes, not dull, so he was conspicuous.
He stood out. So, stood out is the same as conspicuous. To stand out means to be very obvious, to be very conspicuous. Zach was very conspicuous on the street. Everybody looked at him. Why was Zach conspicuous?
Because he wore bright clothes. But that are very conspicuous. Like, he stand out. He stands out in a mass. What's time for this?
Well, because he always wore bright, expensive clothes. He was conspicuous. He was obvious. He stood out because he always wore bright, expensive clothes.
Okay, guys, I gotta go. But that's it for today. Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're back, Clarice. I hope I'll see you often in our classes, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye, teacher.